Round 7 of the BMW IBSF Skeleton World Cup, and we're in St Moritz, the home of the sport. The Cresta run is where skeleton sliding was invented, and alongside it, on the modern handmade bob track, we are here for the second and deciding heat of our European Championships. Martin Haven and Ben Sanford trackside, watching the action with you on what is turning into really quite a beautiful day here in the Engadine Valley. And an entertaining first heat leaves us with a cliffhanger, Ben.
It sure does. Here we see Yun from Korea having a really good season this year. Nice lines down the track, looking really relaxed. He's fast at the start. He's been challenging Martins all season. Thomas, Martin's older brother, has only beaten Martin once in his entire career, and today only 1/100th of a second behind him going into the second heat. So really good battle at the top end of the race. And then, of course, you have Martins, who is just the man when it comes to skeleton. So relaxed, so calm, so good in every area of the sport. Again today, leading after the first run, but only a very narrow lead between him and his brother, and that's going to be the battle of the day.
Wearing the yellow vest of our World Cup points leader, Martins Ducours. The brothers last year had 3 1-2 results out of the 8 World Cup races. It was always Martins ahead of Thomas, as it has been for so many years. But with just 100th between them, you can count that to be a dead heat. Sunbin Jung definitely not out of the medals, nor is Nikita Tregubov or potentially Alexander Tretyakov. And the 20 fastest sliders from our first heat go through into heat 2. The remaining 8 from the first heat, starting with Marco Ruhr of Switzerland, will be joining the fans trackside to watch the action. We go 20 down to 1, last to fast, both heats count. And the smallest elapsed time over the 2 runs down this legendary handmade natural track will decide our gold medalist and potentially our European champion, because the top North American is Kyle Brown of the USA, who lies a strong 7th. But other than that, the Europeans, perhaps with more experience than some of the American and Canadian sliders of this track, have got the upper hand. Well, the sun's out, Ben. It hasn't been a cold week. Daytime high here is often only -10. At the moment, it's balmy +4 degrees, so it really feels like spring rather than winter.
Yeah, it's been a challenging week for the athletes. We had one day of training cancelled because it was too warm and the track was melting away. There's no refrigeration on this track, so you need the weather to be cold, and we just haven't had those cold temperatures. It cooled down for a couple of days, but not to the -20s that you often get here.
You saw German bobsleigh coach Christoph Langen, couple of World Championship wins for him on this track in his career, among many, many other medals, with commentator Martin Wolf from ZDF. Ronald Oderset of Switzerland bumped his teammate out of the race. It's a dog-eat-dog world below the top 10, that's for sure. He goes off first, ahead of Matthias Guggenberger of Austria. And then as we get down to the money, it is Tretyakov, Tregubov, Sunbin Jung chasing the Ducours brothers. Well, their coach is also holding the sled for Ronald Oderset. And Ronald making it through by just a hair's breadth, couple of hundreds in front of Marco Ruhr to snatch that 20th position. Now he's got to try and focus his attention again. And Ben, we talked about this in the first heat. The Swiss athletes, it's their home track. You know, they've all got history here, but at the beginning of the season, because it's natural, it has to wait for winter to arrive. It opens very late, rarely ever before Christmas. And so these guys have got no more knowledge of this track than really any of their rivals.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Most of the refrigerated tracks around the world opened up in October. Obviously, October is autumn and you don't have any snow here in St Moritz at that time, and so you have to wait for the snow to come. And this year they didn't have enough snow in St Moritz, so they actually used artificial snow to build the track, and they got it built by the new year, and so it's only been open for a few weeks. And so it doesn't give the Swiss sliders any chance to come here and train here while the other athletes are away training on their own home tracks.
You come here to this track in November and it's still brown and green fields and the start area is full of weeds, so it takes a long time for winter to get in, even this high up in the mountains. Well, Ronald won't drop out of the top 20, but his chance now to try and move up. He's going to find a couple of tenths on Matthias Guggenberger of Austria.
Yeah, a bit of a touch there between Telephone and Shamrock, and then again out of Shamrock before Devil's Dyke. You really need clean, controlled runs here in St Moritz. You want to relax as much as possible and just allow the sled to run on the long straights between the corners.
Switzerland have had, in recent generations, two of the standout skeleton athletes in Gregor Staley for the men and Maya Pedersen, Olympic and multiple world champion for the women. But the program at the moment is struggling to find that level of sublime talent. In fact, last year in the World Cup race, Gregor Staley was forerunning, just for the fun of it, because he can, and he was still the fastest Swiss man on the ice.
Yeah, Gregor was an amazing athlete, 3-time world champion and 2 bronze medals at the 2 Olympics. And yeah, he was sort of like Martins Dukas of the day.
Yes.
He won a whole bunch of World Cups, and you know, he had this track dialed in, and he was...
And the most sublime form. He just looked like he was doing nothing, same as Ducours.
Yeah.
And he retired 3 times in his career before finally knocking it on the head for a 4th time. Next up, Matthias Guggenberger. Last competitive run before we start training for the World Championships. Let's see what he can make of it.
Yeah, in the World Championships on his home track in Eagles in Austria. He'll be really looking for a big result at the World Championships.
Little quicker than Odyssey away from the start, carries more speed into that tricky little dink of a first corner.
One of the features of the track here in St Moritz is that because it's so cold overnight, the track normally warms up during the day and it gets faster and faster as the day goes on. But this also, it varies depending on the weather conditions and how much sunlight you have. And the clouds are breaking up at the moment and there's a bit of sunlight coming through. So we should see the track getting a little bit faster. Takes a very early line there into Horseshoe. Just keeps him on the corner a bit long and takes that hit before telephone.
Well, his advantage was 1900s, coming out of Nash and Dixon down to 1700s. See what he can... Ooh.
Doesn't look like he's going to hold on to it through this right-hand combination.
He'll be doing well, won't he? Speed 94.9 to 97.5 of Ronald Odyssey, so he is going to drop to the tail of the field. Hardly the boost you want before you go to Eagles in Austria for the Worlds. Wow, well, he had better speed at the bottom, 127, but 127.9 from Ronald Odyssey was flying. And from 1700s up, Matthias Guggenberger ended up 1800s of a second back.
Yeah, that'll be a disappointing result for him. 1 week before the World Championships, you really want to be hitting some form and taking some confidence into your home World Championships.
By the time this replay is finished, he'd better have forgotten about that.
You can see him here in Horseshoe, and he went in very early, so very on the right wall, and then it just keeps him on the corner too long and pushes him across into that wall and hits that wall, and the ice goes flying everywhere.
Well, Ronald Odyssey in the leader's box, 2500ths of a second, the advantage for Hiro Takahashi of Japan after the first heat. So will he take the lead now from the Swiss?
Go, 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 go!
Here, Koshi-san at the start, cheering for his athlete to go.
Is that the Japanese for go, then?
I guess go is go in Japanese.
I guess so. Well, that's one of the things we're missing at the track here. Our old track announcer used to announce everybody in their home language. Japanese, Slovenian, Latvian, Russian, wherever you came from, French, Belgian. He had a little group of phrases to use to introduce everybody, to make them feel at home in what for many is a very strange and alien environment, especially financially here.
Yeah, it's an interesting day walking around St Moritz and checking out the fur coats and the matching fur shoes.
Yeah, you could be in any of the most expensive shopping areas on the planet with snow.
Takahashi looking good on the sled at the moment. Putting together a nice run here. He looks very composed.
Oh, here we go now. Look at the speed he got from a good exit. He's gone from 2/10 up to 4/10 up, and the gap grows.
And listen to that noise as he comes out of leap and goes into Martino.
And any scraping and scratching, not an iota. Nice bottom half of the track from Hiro Takahashi. 1:10.17, 6300ths better than his first run. So,
and that's a combination of putting down a good run. Like, he's looked really good on that run. And also the track probably speeding up a little bit.
Yeah. And what speed did he have in the first heat? He's got 1:31.5 in this one. In the first heat, Takahashi 1:30, so 1.5 Ks quicker.
Looking nice here in Horseshoe. Just does a little bit of steering, gets that line out that he wants. doesn't oversteer it. Sometimes you see the athlete steering for too long on the exit of horseshoe, and it just basically steers them right into that left-hand wall.
And in the slow-mo, you can really see the body rippling away there on the sled, and that's good, isn't it? That's a lack of tension, which is always good.
Badrutt Martineau getting a second run today. I don't know if he thought that he was going to get a second run after the training that he's had this week, but hitting that wall out of the first kink.
And leaves little dinks of ice in the track. You can see what it does. Oh,
just stays away from that wall.
Yeah. What do they call it in North America? A teeter-totter, a seesaw. Where the closest I can come to is when on one of those balance ball things that's got the little ring around it, you have to stand on, and your whole body is your central, balance is just trying to stay stationary.
And we'll watch Badrutt as he goes into horseshoe here, and he's struggled with horseshoe all week. Hit the roof in training, so hopefully he stays off the roof. Yep, stays off the roof, but hits that wall.
Still only 600s back, 96.9. Takahashi, 98 Ks. The gap is out by an additional 600s, but actually he's still close enough. He might challenge if he gets 132s down the bottom.
Martineau sliding into Martineau again.
You're loving that, aren't you?
I'm loving that.
131.6, he's not going to close the gap. He's a 10th away. No, 400ths of a second. Wow, that's tough. He was 200ths in front of Hero in the first heat. He's 400ths behind in the second. 2 miles of difficult ice, and 600ths of a second means that he loses a spot.
He actually put down a pretty decent run here. He just had a bit of a problem coming out of horseshoe, but apart from that, he did a good job on the rest of the track. Just hitting that wall before Telephone. And that makes Telephone and Shamrock in the next 2 corners, really tricky to maintain a line. And he's straight into the changing room.
Yeah. You can see from his body language what he thought of that. You can see from Raf's what he's thinking of as well. He's thinking of those first couple of corners where he wants to make the wave and where he doesn't. Had a shocker in training yesterday, but he is the better of the 2 Austrian men.
Rafa has a long history on this track. He's had some good results here in the past. I think his first ever top 10 in a World Cup was here in St Moritz. It's a track that should suit him, and I think that's what he finds so frustrating about it, is that he knows that this is a track that he should be good on because he does have really good driving skills, and he is a good driver.
It's like the girl you really liked and who gets on really well with you, but he's in the friend zone here, and it's not happening, is it?
Yeah. I don't even know if he's in the friend zone at the moment.
No, actually, possibly after yesterday, maybe not.
Yeah.
I think he was hanging up the phone in disgust. Height and the exit, that's what he needs. There you go.
Now he has to drive this part of the track well, and if he does this well, he'll be picking up time and speed in the bottom.
Well, he's gone from a 10th out to 2900ths out, now a quarter second away.
He's gaining a little bit, but is it going to be enough?
He's had the same speed as Hiro Takahashi. Takahashi 131.5, 131.0. It's not going to be enough. He will drop 2 places behind Badrutt Martineau. He does. Well, Takahashi and Martineau just 400s apart, and Ben, you're either going to beat both of them or neither of them effectively, really. The chances of falling in the middle are next to nil.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And I imagine Rafa's going to be straight into the changing room
That
as
is
well.
exactly how he looked after the final training run yesterday. Throws the sled away in disgust, and he will follow.
Oh, there's a bit of a wry smile on his face.
Okay. It's different when the camera's there. Now, Dave Cheshin from Canada, a man who possibly rivals Ben Sanford, my colleague in the booth here, for height and body mass, taking on our top 5, led by Hiro Takahashi.
Yeah, Dave is probably the heaviest slider in the field at the moment, and I think he weighs about 94, 95 kgs. So it gives you a rough idea of the upper limit of most skeleton sliders.
But he's had quite a lot of time on this track because he raced here in Europa Cup, he's raced Intercontinental Cup here as well as World Cup, so it's not one of the least known tracks. And again, that's showing he's got his chin nicely down there. He knows he's got the right line on the straight.
Yeah, maybe a little bit like Rafa as well. Like, he's had some good results here in the past. He knows this track. He likes it a lot. He's just been finding training this week a little bit frustrating. Just can't quite find the line that he wants down the track. And especially in St Moritz, where you really want to let the sled guide. If you know you're not on the right line, you're having to oversteer all the time. And if it does get really... that just sounds bad.
You can hear that hit clear up to the start.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And a big guy like Dave, when he hits those walls, it's not his sled hitting those walls, it's his arms.
Yeah. And he's gone 93.9 compared to 98 for our race leader there. He's gone from 2900s up to 4300s back, and he may well drop to the tail of the field behind even Matthias Guggenberger. No, not quite, ahead of Odyssey. But Hiro Takahashi remains in the leader's box, and Grizz will be looking for some ice for that shoulder. There's a lot of shoulder out there as well. You know, you see the sled hit the wall, but then the body moves as well, because, you know, when you're as broad as you and him, you're as wide as the sled.
Smashing out.
Yeah. Smashing out, absolutely.
He's got that one right. He really has hit hard air out of Horseshoe.
Well, he pulled it down a little early there, didn't he?
Yeah, and you can just see the body, like the sled hitting first and then the body getting thrown into the wall.
Yeah. I think the ice took a bigger hit than Grizz. Next up, Hansin Lee for Korea. 14th after the first of our two heats. Current leader, Hiro Takahashi, was 18th. But Hiro putting together a smoking second run.
Hansin Lee just constantly getting better, just slowly improving every part of his sliding skills. 1900s
faster in the first heat, but only a 10th up as he lays down because he's slower away at the start than Takahashi. And all of that will have vanished because he dragged a big lump of ice behind him then. Where did that come off? 2100s up. So much for his lead having diminished.
Yeah, the track runs through the forest here, and so you often get snow falling off the trees or branches in the track and
squirrels. Squirrels in last year's Europa Cup race. Somebody nearly ran over a squirrel. 99.4, top speed so far. This is a good-looking run from Lee.
You see him just looking into the line that he wants. Sliding around Martineau, and then uphill here. Uphill into Portago and across the finish line.
Top speed, 1:32.0. Hansin Lee takes the lead by half a second from Hiro Takahashi. 1900s up in the first heat. More than doubled that. In fact, nearly tripled that. That was a good-looking run from Hansin Lee of Korea.
That's good work from Hansin Lee. You know, top 15 finish for him.
Yeah.
Man, he's happy, yeah. He's a good athlete at the start. Fast turnover. You see the sled just bobbling around there in the groove.
Best result this season for Lee, 11th place. Well, he'll get congratulations from Charles, his coach. I won't understand a word. He'd struggle with Charles even in English.
Yep.
But he leads with 13 to come, first of whom is our young Bavarian, Kilian von Schleinitz. And Kilian, just 22 years old, silver medalist in the recent Junior World Championships, been bellowed away by Coach Dirk Matchens. What was he looking down at there, Ben?
It's just one of the techniques that some athletes use to relax into their sled. And so you jump onto the sled, you load, and you really want to relax as quickly as possible, which is the complete contrast to when you're pushing and you have that tension when you're pushing. And so one thing that some athletes will do is they'll just look down at the ice and sort of get their head position and then rotate their chin upwards into the correct sliding position.
Good start from him. Opening up his advantage. He was only 600s ahead of Lee of Korea from the first heat. In fact, it wasn't. It was only 200s up. He started a couple of hundreds extra faster. Now 1300s up. Low line in the Kreisel, but he gets away with it. Decent exit.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you just said Kreisel, and a lot of the and a lot of the athletes though, like it's so hard to say horseshoe because on a lot of the tracks we do have a Kreisel, which is basically like a 360-degree corner.
That's 2 Swiss francs in the tin.
Athletes think about it in the same way. Like it's in the middle of the track. It's this difficult corner, and so you'll often find the athletes referring to horseshoe as a Kreisel.
From Martineau to Portago, named after the Marquis Alfonso di Portago, playboy, slider, Grand Prix racer, who was tragically killed racing in the Mille Miglia in Italy in the late 1950s. And Von Portago was a big star for Portugal. And for ice sliding, member of the St Moritz Bob Club. Well, into the lead by 0.3 of a second. 3,300 is a full third of a second. Has gone Kilian von Schleinitz, the junior world's silver medalist. Very low line here through Horseshoe, though, but he got away with it.
Yeah, very low line, and because he has a low line, he's going to have to do a lot of steering to get the sled off the corner and into telephone at the right time.
Mattia Gasperi from Italy is next on the ice. 12 sleds to come here in St Moritz, Switzerland, the Monte Carlo of ice sliding. And Gasperi fresh off a bronze medal result in the Junior Worlds. The race being led by the man who took the silver in the Junior Worlds, Germany's Kilian von Schleinitz. He had a big mistake at the start, overflew the sled when he was trying to load, barely got on it. But Ben Sanford, 5.19. That'll give him a little bit more confidence. He could move up the order here.
Yeah, he could. He'd be looking to move up a couple of spots, definitely. Try and get into that top 10. He's been having a good season, a couple of top 10 results and doing really well. Yeah,
he has 16th and 15th in the first two German tracks. The last three races, 10th, 9th, 8th. Snow in the track there, falling off the trees that overhang this natural ice track.
Big crowds along the side of the track today.
A Swiss-Mexican wave. Oh, but look at this. He's having a shocker. 500s behind at the start. He's now 40 500s behind Kilian von Schleinitz.
Yeah, he's losing time and losing even more time after the Horseshoe.
Well, he needed to have a bad load this time because that was a golden run the first heat, but the speed is not here this time. Down at the bottom, first time down, speed 130.5. He's quicker, but he's not going to catch von Schleinitz, who had 132.5. And he goes 8/10 back, drops 4 spots. Oh, Mattia.
Yeah, that's gone in completely the wrong direction for him.
Well, he came here with a podium finish in the Junior World Championships. He was looking very relaxed yesterday after training. Good first run despite the start, but below here, and from here on in, after this blow, Ben Sanford, it just got worse and worse.
Yeah, he lost a bit of time at the top of the track, and then after Horseshoe just lost more time and just consistently seemed to drain away.
11th after the first heat, Germany's Michael Zackrau. Second of our German athletes.
Using his toe there to keep the sled in the middle of the track. He just feels that the sled is drifting to the left, and so to anticipate that, he just puts his toe down and tries to correct it. Nice head position coming into walk, with that head nice and low and close to the ice.
Just 21 years old, World Cup rookie, former ski jumper. Not the only one in the field. Raphael Meyer was a ski jumper. Started when he was 6.
No, I've got to correct you, he wasn't.
He said he was.
No. He's a skeleton slider. That's one thing that he always is annoyed about, is that he's being called a ski jumper.
He shouldn't have told me that. He told me he did ski jumping from the age of 6 at high school. So Zackrau still in the green. Gap is slender though, just 900s over teammate von Schleinitz. 400s, oh, and a big
bit of a
steer away there.
Oh. You can see the corner, the right-hand corner is just pushing him away a little bit, and that's just going to make him later and later as he goes around, and then touching there as he goes into Martineau.
Not enough speed. Von Schleinitz had 132 kilometers an hour, 130.7. Won't do it for Michael. 1700s back. Kilian moves up the order. His older brother Julian also slides for Germany, but he's a loser. He does the feet first sliding.
Which, by the way, is nowhere near as much fun as skeleton.
Well, you know, when you're a kid and you get bored of sledging feet first, you go head first because it's more exciting, right?
Coming out of leap, going down into Martineau, and you can see just getting pushed away and into that right-hand wall.
Our leader, Kilian von Schleinitz of Germany. 10 sleds still to come here. Race 7 in the World Cup of St Moritz. Beautiful start area here. Historic venue at St Moritz. Axel Jung of Germany round out the top 10 in the first heat. I'm Martin Haven alongside me. Multiple medalist on this track, Ben Sanford. And the top German slider only in 10th place, Ben. Not really where they want to be with the program at the moment.
No, the Germans really want to be winning races. That's what the coaches expect, and they have a big program. They have 3 tracks in Germany, or maybe 4.
4, yeah.
And, you know, they want to be winning medals. And in the men's field, they're finding it hard to come by medals lately.
2200s up over Kilian von Schleinitz. It's an aggregate score from both runs that you're seeing, so this is adding to his first round advantage, which was nearly 0.2 of a second, 11 hundredths in fact it was, not 0.2 at all, so he's added to that, but not by much. Gaps come down. Von Schleinitz was really good in this faster portion of the track lower down.
So important to just get the steering right, get that timing right, and let the sled run.
And he didn't. He got pushed away in the first of the fast 4 right-handers at Tree, and that always sets you late into the others. Von Schleinitz 132, he's behind, and he will drop behind. He'll be the worst of the Germans at the line. He is. Third of the 3, 2/10 behind Kilian von Schleinitz. Yikes.
Axel's been having a good season as well, and so he won't be happy to finish outside the top 10.
Well, it's bad enough finishing outside the top 10. It's worst of all when you've been beaten by your 2 junior teammates.
See him here and gain another low line in horseshoe, and just using his left foot to, you can see him trying to use that foot to get out, but it's just maintaining its height and staying on too long.
And dragging the toe there just rotates the sled a little bit on the side that you're dragging it. So kind of like putting the anchors out a fraction. Next up, Mant-Antoine of the USA, our Olympic bronze medalist, in a little bit of a sticky situation this season. He doesn't yet have the start speed that he needs to really compete at the front of this field. He hasn't forgotten how to drive. He just needs to relearn how to get those legs moving again.
There's a nasty exit from the first kink, just pushing him across into that left-hand wall and having to do a lot of steering to not make it worse.
Not sure I've ever seen so much of a slider's legs out of turn 1, up in the air there. And when the legs are up, that's because the knee is pushing down on the sled, yes?
Yeah, that's right. So one of the ways that you can steer a skeleton sled is by pushing your, if you want to go to the left, you push your left knee into the sled.
800s behind Kilian von Schleinitz.
Yeah, just a little bit sideways there, coming out of Sunny and into Nash.
Well, the Bavarian, in his first World Cup race of the season, he's only done, he did 1 last year, I think only Sochi last year.
And Matt just struggling there out of Telephone and out of Shamrock.
Ooh, Antoine 5 spots back at the moment on the split times. 98k's not great speed, and at the bottom, not enough, 130. He is going to drop 4 or 5 spots at the line. 7th place, yikes! With 8 to go, 15th place finish for Mant-Antoine. That will be his worst result of the season. He was 15th in Koenigsee in December.
Wow, that's a big drop. He's not going to be happy. Zach Lund there, the coach picking up the sled.
The gym equipment is going to take a lot of punishment this afternoon. Kilian von Schleinitz leads in his best World Cup race. Top 8 from the first heat here in St Moritz, ready to take on the ice again. The only natural track on the planet still contested by bobsleigh and skeleton. And Pavel Kulikov, this young Russian rookie, 8th fastest starter, 8th at the bottom. He's the first of 3 Russians in the top 8.
Nice start from Pavel. Good position here as he comes down between kink 1 and kink 2.
Former decathlete, cross-country skier.
And then must have seen the light and came to skeleton.
He did, yeah. Told me once about this multiple discipline that they do in the Russian army. He did during his national service, 5 different disciplines: running, shooting, grenade throwing. I know, everybody wants to go to that one. It's a good-looking run. Again, you know, not the world's most experienced slider in World Cup terms, but 2 or 3 years on the junior circuit means that he will have knowledge of the track, but he's gone from 31 to only 300s up. I can't see him holding off von Schleinitz here. Willi Schneider got the runner selection wrong for the women, definitely. I don't think it's working for the men as the track warms up, Ben.
Yeah, the track's warming up and it should be getting faster. And he's just losing a bit of time here. Just struggled through that middle section of the track, and that seemed to cost him down the bottom.
Von Schleinitz is going to be the cat who got the cream here. Goodness me. Kilian von Schleinitz, a real rarity in the World Cup. His performances are very few in World Cup terms. Silver medalist in the Junior Worlds. And now looking as though he might end up top 6. There's Coach Willi Schneider in the background.
Siem is loading onto the sled, knee hitting the sled first, gets into position quickly.
Well, something's got to hit first. I suppose ideally you want to swallow dive in where your chest lands first and everything sort of smoothly follows it, but we're sprinting downhill on ice. Carl Brown from the USA, 7th after the first heat, and looking like he may well get his best ever World Cup result. Oh no, he won't. 6th position in Lake Placid, his only World Cup race this season, so he needs to climb 1. And the gaps now over leader Kilian von Schleinitz getting bigger and bigger. He was 26 hundredths ahead of von Schleinitz from the first heat. Can he finally break the Bavarian stranglehold of the leader box?
Yeah, and he's a top-placed non-European in the race at the moment, and this is a European champs. And big race for the European athletes, but still a World Cup for everyone else, and so you're really wanting to do well.
Nice exit from Horseshoe. 700ths up behind, 98.5. Von Schleinitz was 99.2. He's not got the speed either.
No.
Is the track now getting too warm? Did von Schleinitz get the last good ice?
I wouldn't think so. I don't think it's going to change that quickly.
He's 48 hundredths behind von Schleinitz from the start of the run. 59 hundredths he lost to Kilian von Schleinitz, 0.6 of a second on that run alone. Wow. So Carl Brown slips to 4th place, still comfortably the best North American slider. Matt Antoine and Barrett Martineau are 2nd. They're tied 9th with, what, 6 sleds still to come.
Love your rest.
Martin Haven, Ben Sanford watching the action. Final 6 sleds in the men's skeleton race here in St Moritz, and Dom Parsons, like the remaining half dozen Europeans, looking for medals in this European Championship. Well, Dom from Great Britain, 10th fastest starter, came down in 6th position. His advantage over our current leader, Kilian von Schleinitz, 46 hundredths of a second. Now we're getting to the stage where each athlete is nearly half a second up on the Bavarian who's in the leader's box. Can he hold on?
Dom looking really comfortable on the sled here, looking straight ahead, not having to move or correct anything in the straight. Wars a long 3-pressure corner, leads you into snake corner here. And around Sunny, which just feels fantastic.
Then through Nash and Dixon, the left and the right. And heading to the signature corner here. Horseshoe, lots of height. Got away with it on the exit, did he? 24 hundredths up, that's half his initial lead. 94.8, von Schleinitz was 99 kilometers an hour. He's going down, he will not come back from that.
No.
Von Schleinitz is going to pull off the race result of his life here. He's going to finish top 12 after being 13th in the first heat. So he'll finish top 6 as Dom Parsons loses 9/10 of a second on that run to Kilian von Schleinitz.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. We're just seeing one slider after another come down and losing a lot of time, each of them.
Normally the overnight low here will be -20. Last night it was probably +2 because it was snowing.
Dom takes a very high line in Horseshoe. You can see that height is late, and he takes the hit out of Horseshoe, and that's going to slow him down. And you can see the line there going into Telephone that taking that hit gives him.
5 to go. Kilian von Schleinitz, is he going to end up in the medals? The Russians have got to hold on here, but we've already seen from Pavel Kulikov, they haven't got the speed in the runners, or the setup, or something. Next up, Alexander Tretyakov, our world and Olympic champion, trying to hold on to a top 5 position against a 22-year-old, rather wet behind the ears, not quite rookie from Bavaria. This is the acid test here.
Yeah, it sure is. Alex didn't have a very good... Wow.
Another start record, 485 in the first heat, 482 in the second heat. He beats Dave Swift of Great Britain's start record.
Alex didn't have a very good first run, and so he'll be really looking forward to improving in this run and having a cleaner, more relaxed run down the track. And he starts well. And
50.6 kilometers an hour in the first heat. He's 1.1 seconds up. He can't lose that much. Can he?
It's all going to happen here.
Low line, gets the exit, nailed on, but he's lost a tenth.
2 tenths.
2 tenths, 97.7, 2 kilometers an hour down.
This is going to be really tight at the bottom. 8 tenths.
No, there's not enough time to give that away. Give me 8 tenths here and I could give it away. Not him, surely. Speed 131, that's it. He takes the lead away from Kilian von Schleinitz. He will lead, but will it be enough for a medal? Wow, 1:9.49. His first heat, 1:9.87. That's a big improvement.
Kilian spent a long time in the leader's box there.
Yeah. What an insane second heat from Kilian von Schleinitz. Guarantees himself a top 6 finish.
Tretyakov just coming around Shamrock, and you just see him just touching that wall before he goes into Devil's Dyke.
Right. He takes the lead, but there are 4 to go. Is it enough to put Alexander Tretyakov, the world and Olympic champion, on the top of the podium? I'm not sure it is, but he leads. Four to go. Nikita Tregibov, the young whippersnapper that Alexander Tretyakov continually complains about, our double junior world champion in men's skeleton. Can he put himself in amongst medals here in St Moritz? A 10th away from a bronze. 4:98, another big start from the young man from Krasnoyarsk in Siberia. See how warm it's getting this afternoon, Ben. Snow flopping off the trees into the track.
Yep. Sliding around wall, looking comfortable on the sled. Nice line coming into the snake corners.
3,300s up on Tretyakov from the first heat. 500s up, he's going down.
He has a little bit of a skid there before he went into Nash. Taking the middle line here into Horseshoe.
A kilometre an hour too slow in Snake. Wow!
It's picked up a bit of time.
Well, and he's a kilometre an hour faster than Tretyakov. Tregibov is coming on now. 22 to 4,100s up. Well, whatever he's done with his sled between the runs has worked. The double junior world champion gets nudged away into Martineau. Will he hit the wall in Portago? No, he doesn't. 1:31.8 is good speed. He'll take the lead. Is it enough for a medal? 3 to go, and he leads, pushes Tretyakov roughly out of the way by half a second. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really nice run there, and he's done something in the middle section of the track, and either relaxed really well, he's let the sled run, he's got the timing. Whatever he's done in the middle section of the track has worked for him, and he's picked up time here.
Well, he found 2,300s compared to his first heat.
You can see in the slow-mo there where he changes from his downsteer to the countersteer, like really pushing his right knee into the sled as he comes off the corner.
And that's what avoids the hit with the wall and keeps the speed. 3 to go. Sumbin Yun of Korea. He's been on a real medal haul this year. 12th and 4th, and then 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd. Can he stay in the medals? 4:92, another big start. He knows he needs it.
Yeah, Jun's a fantastic athlete, really powerful and quick at the start. Nice position on his Bromley sled here.
Well, shattering start from Tretikov, an 82 compared to Tregibov, who's also supposed to be lightning quick at 98. 1,600 slower, but Tregibov is the man who leads, and Jun trying to stay in front. He's gone from 16 to 30 hundredths up as he gets to horseshoe. Good exit.
That's a really nice exit of horseshoe.
And that might seal the deal. 100.2 kilometers now. First we've seen in triple digits. Blinding run. He was less than 2/10 off the lead. Is he going to challenge the Ducours brothers? 133.8, sensational speed from the Bromley sled. Jun will take the lead comfortably, 6/10 ahead. Wow, he was 1/10 up on Tregibov. And if we thought Tregibov swept Tretikov aside, Jun is slapping the Russian down. That is a monster run.
It sure is, and he's pulled that out when he needs it. He's been fast in training. He was the fastest in training both days. And if he wants to stand on top of the podium today, he really had to put down a good run, and he has.
Von Schleinitz was in the leader's box for 8 runs, and we were thinking now, has the track gone? Is there anything left? Oh yeah, baby, there's something left. And now we get down to it. Sungbin Jun of Korea leads the 2 remaining sliders, Thomas and Martins Ducours, separated by 1/100th of a second. Is there anyone here, apart from Martins, who doesn't want Thomas to win this one? Here we go, 5:02 first start, 5 flat second start.
Thomas is such a good slider. He has so much experience, and it really would be fantastic to see him take the race today.
1 World Cup win in his career. His brother has got 43. It's time to start the catch-up. Might be a bit late, but 1 is better than nothing. And of course, with the win here, goes the title of European champion that his brother has held multiple times.
He's just holding on to such a slim lead at the moment over Jun.
Wow. He's got to keep his form absolutely impeccable. Did he get the exit? 100th in it, 100.5, quicker than Jun. Here we go.
He's going to have to be so good through this middle section of the track.
Look to see the legs. Are they right behind his body, or are they slipping out sideways? Little correction.
He got pushed a little bit to the right there.
He needs 134 at the bottom. 133.2, slower than Jun, and he's behind. Jun is going to move up into the lead with 1 to go, unless Thomas finds something at the line, and he doesn't. Jun in the silver medal position, at least here. Well,
this season has really been a battle between the Ducours brothers and Jun. So often it's those 3 on the podium.
well, such an emotional roller coaster since Christmas for the Korean team, with the loss of bobsled coach and their real totem, Malcolm Lloyd, sprinkled his ashes in horseshoe this morning. What a place this would be for Jun to take his first ever win. Our World Cup leader's yellow jersey stitched up tight around the body of Martins Ducours. Whatever else happens, Ducours will be the European champion, because, of course, from Korea, Jun can't be. But will it be Thomas, or will it be Martins? And who's going to win this race? Will Martins keep his 100% record alive? Needs a huge start, 493.
Just correcting a little bit in the straight there, coming out of kink 1.
50.1, fastest speed out of the first corner.
Just going straight, looking straight ahead, going straight ahead. Nice line into a wall, letting the sled run.
It's a different sport that he does to what everybody else is doing. He doesn't have slippery ice, he just has tram lines to follow.
A little bit of a correction there coming out of Sunny, but his position on the sled is just so good, and you can see how relaxed he is on the sled. Nice line around horseshoe.
Drops 100, 100.1.
Oh, there's a bit of a mistake there going into Devil's Dyke. He's touched the wall. A little bit middle going into Nameless.
Got to be perfect here. If those heels come apart, it could be victory for Jun. 12 hundredths of a second. 132.4. It's going to be very close at the line. Very close at the line. Martins Ducours scratches in the final corner, hits the wall. Son Bin-Young wins for Korea. His first ever World Cup win comes in the greatest and most historic track of them all. Son Bin-Young wins in St Moritz. Martins Ducours is tied as the European champion with his brother. All sorts of emotional stories, all sorts of boxes being ticked. Young wins, the perfect season is over, but what an emotional day for Son Bin-Young of Korea. 4 medals in the last 4 races, and finally the gold that he has threatened all year comes to him. Axel Young there to congratulate him, as is Martins Ducours.
Wow, what an incredible race. Martins only lost that in the last couple of corners.
Wow.
And tied for the European Championships with his brother.
Yep, not even the 100th between them that there was in the first heat. So, Thomas Ducours becomes European champion for the first time in his career. Son Bin-Young is a race winner for the first time in his career. Well, Goma, if you were chuckling this morning, you'll be smiling this afternoon somewhere. Wow, Richard Bromley and the rest of the Koreans looking very, very happy with that, and rightly so.
Yeah, Young's been getting better and better and working hard. And
he doesn't know what to do with himself. This is it. This is the target. He has reached the first summit.
First ever Korean to win a World Cup for...
First ever Asian to win a World Cup race. No.
No, maybe Koshi.
Koshi, yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. Well, here he comes, Son Bin-Young, huge starter, huge sliding talent. Passes the ashes of Goma Lloyd there in Horseshoe, on his way to his first ever win. Didn't think that was going to happen this morning when we were out there celebrating the memory of a lost friend. Wow! This track has made history so many times with so many people in so many ways. 28 and 48 Olympic venue for skeleton. And now Son Bin-Young adds his name to the list of those that have won on the most famous piece of ice on the planet. Son Bin-Young wins. Martins and Thomas Ducours are the European champions. Tregebov and Tretyakov in the end, a second behind Alexander Tretyakov. Wow, the world and Olympic champion needs to find something special. And Kilian von Schleinitz, 6th position. Are you kidding me? First World Cup race this season. Teammate Mikhail Zakrau in 7th. And he moves nicely up the order as well in the World Cup standings. Martins Ducours continues to lead. Son Bin-Young with that first win, going into the World Championships next week, where huge starters are everything. The Ducours brothers, the Russians, Yun, they're all going to be in contention. There is one of the other sliding tracks you can take around the St Moritz area. You can go up to the hotel there, up on the funicular, and slide down a 20-turn natural course down the mountainside. And of course there's the Cresta run alongside us, alongside the bob track. There's the Preda to Bergun run down 5 kilometers of icy road you can do as well. Sliding's all over the place here, as well as skiing, of course, and see the wind whipping up over the mountains. All last night's snow is getting tossed around. Not sure the skiing conditions are exactly fantastic, Ben Sanford.
No, when I came here 2 weeks ago, there was barely any snow in the region, and so it's good that they're getting some snow now, but it has been a strangely warm and snowless winter here in St Moritz. Yeah, most of Europe's been a lot like England, where you go straight from sort of autumn into spring with barely any pause for it to get cold. Certainly not much in the way of snow in the UK. Yeah, and I saw on the forecast that there's rain in the forecast here for Sunday, so... Oh, it's turned to rain now. They were originally forecasting a metre of snow. So, okay. And then maybe back to snow on Tuesday. It's changing all the time, so we'll see what happens. Well, you can see down below us the finishing area. Who's in the gondolas? Not too many. Well,
the rolling pieces up there above the tree line are quite astonishing to witness. This white oasis, rolling dunes, is the closest I can come to describing it. Just flawless pistes. They really have fantastic conditions. Next year, the FIS Ski World Championships come to St Moritz again. And you can hear the train rattling through the valley just below us there in the background. European Championship joint gold medalists Martins and Thomas Ducour. Nikita Chegabov will take the bronze, the double junior world champion, ahead of teammate Alexander Tretyakov. He swept him aside by half a second. Kilian von Schleinitz, 5th position in the European, 6th position overall. By far and away his best World Cup result in what is only his 2nd World Cup race. I think I'm right in saying. Fantastic result for him. And there are the rest of the positions. Even those who didn't make it into the 2nd heat get ranked if they are European. And Canadian Joe Cecchini, because he represents Italy, is also in amongst them. But Sunbin Jung of Korea is our race winner here. And Ben Sanford, it's been coming, but the manner in which he did it was quite remarkable.
It really has. Jung's been getting better and better in the last couple of years, and he's been challenging Martins more and more. But to come from behind today in St Moritz is just absolutely incredible result. And Martins had a bit of a lead over him, 3/10 going into the 2nd heat, so fantastic 2nd run by Jung.
So Sunbin Jung of Korea with Martins Ducours on the left, Thomas Ducours on the right, tied for the silver medal. So they get champagne here, Mam Cordon Rouge from our sponsors, and Sunbin Jung of Korea. I'm sure that will be used to toast this success by the team tonight. So he has finally arrived. This season he has been knocking on the door, and today he kept his foot in it and managed to squeeze in front of Martins and Thomas Ducours to win his first ever World Cup race at the most historic track of them all. Next time out, it'll be the World Championships at another double Olympic venue in Austria. Join us for that. Until then, it's goodbye from St Moritz.